Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm going to now attempt to share my screen. So let's have a moment of prayer. It'll work. It should work. Okay, here we go. So here we go. Can everybody see that?
We've only got half of it, Lauren. There we go.
How about that? Okay. Yeah, see, I'm still learning. I'm still new to this crazy world we're in right now. So thank you, Molly, for the introduction and for setting all of this up. Shireen and I are really happy to be here. I thought I'd start with a few words about why we decided on this topic, because Shireen and I were originally scheduled to present on institutional negotiations and constraints. But when we got together to map out our webinar, the topic just didn't end up feeling right for the current moment that we're all in right now. How we decided on this new topic seems to me to be a good introduction to it, so let me tell you about that. During our initial planning session a couple of weeks ago, and by way of trying to warm up to this original topic, I started complaining bitterly about my ongoing battle with my dean over nickels and dimes. This is just endless. And Shireen said, "Lauren, you sound angry." And I want to make clear that Shireen was not trying to stifle or redirect me. She was simply noticing and acknowledging, but it did the trick. I realized that I had actually been trying to tell her a success story about how I'd gotten the dean to agree to pay a colleague, admittedly a pittance, I'm still angry, whatever, to serve as assistant director of my writing center. And honestly, it was a big surprise that she agreed, given how worried she was and still is about the solvency of our university. And not only is my life a little easier with an assistant director, but the position also adds to my colleagues' professional development. Yet, in the telling, I'd lost sight of that success because I was so busy, angrily complaining. That moment got Shireen and me thinking. There are many things to be upset and sad about now, so many terrible events and concerns for the future that are truly frightening. Also much bigger than administrative battles of the will, and probably none of which can be solved by institutional negotiations. And we acknowledge everything terrible and frightening that's happening and how painful it is. For the short time we have together, though, Shireen and I want to try as much as we can to redirect our thinking to the successes, assets, resources, and relationships that we can be grateful for as a kind of respite, a pause that might help us find something to be hopeful about, no matter how small. Oh, I realize I should have, then there's our agenda. I was really talking about the agenda at the same time. So I'm going to hand it over to Shireen. Whoops.
Hello, there we go. So in the midst of our conversation, I told Lauren that I had some good news to share. But first, after complaining that one of my associate directors had left in June to finish his counseling degrees, and the other associate director retired in September, both in the middle of COVID and a statewide hiring freeze, I told her that while both associate directors had made huge contributions and are going to be missed, I'm trying to see their departure as an opportunity to reinvent the center. And it comes at a time when the university seems to be reinventing itself. So it seems timely and like an opportunity. At any rate, like it or not, that's where we are, and I'm trying to like it. So hiring an amazing colleague to fill one of those positions is helping me like it. I've collaborated with this amazing woman on campus who co-leads the freshman comp program and oversees the TAs who teach those courses. She's really a powerhouse on campus, despite being a lowly lecturer and being underpaid. She's also in charge of the university writing assessment. And And as part of that work, she gives 2 faculty workshops each year, and a portion of her salary is paid by the provost office for that work. So anyway, I'm really happy that she's coming to the center. And in our early giddy conversations about what her position would be, factoring in the fact that perhaps I won't get to hire another associate director, we first thought that we would want to shed the whole assessment piece, that we didn't want the writing center to be seen as the police or overseeing faculty and their writing efforts or their efforts to teach writing or of student writing. But the more we thought about it, we decided that we should keep it because we would get money from the provost's office. It would increase the visibility of the writing center because this would be part of what we're doing, although we have to navigate our messaging about that very carefully. But we're also going to be indispensable. And given this time of potential furloughs and everyone's job insecurity, it seemed like a wise move to position ourselves in this way. It's also going to help us pay her more because we'll get the writing center will get the stipend from the provost's office that we can apply to her salary. So her salary in essence won't cost us as much. And it's going to help her because she's going to have more job security and a better salary. So that's all a complicated story to say that I feel like I have a lot to be grateful for. So in my conversation with Lauren, we thought, well, there are probably other stories like this, that we have things that have happened since the outbreak of COVID that we can be grateful for. There's plenty to be worried about and to complain about, but there may also be lots of things that we can look at in a more positive light. So we're ready for the next slide. So we thought we would focus on gratitude, and there are lots of reasons for this. There's more research besides the Chopra Center website if you want to geek out on that, but for today, we're not going to spend a lot of time arguing for gratitude. Instead, we thought we would just create an opportunity to express some gratitude. But here is just a list of some benefits from gratitude, that we can have increased well-being and life satisfaction. We can strengthen our immune systems, lower our blood pressure, perhaps get better sleep. Just by being together and expressing gratitude for each other, we can lower our feelings of loneliness and isolation. And of course, when we're thinking about what we're grateful for, we're often thinking about other people and we might be more compassionate toward them as well. Are we on time, Lauren?
We're good.
Awesome. So we're going to give you a little writing task. Let me go to the next slide. Okay, so would you take about 5 minutes to jot down some things that you are grateful for?
Mm-hmm.
It might be in life, it might be in your job, it might be in your writing center. Whatever comes to mind, just take 5 minutes to jot down things you're grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as you're wrapping up, I'd like to just point out this lovely photo that I found online through the Creative Commons. This chain link fence with barbed wire on the top with a rainbow sign. It looks like it's plastic or paper cups. Someone added the words, "Look how beautiful." So they're turning trash into treasure, I guess, is one way to look at it. So now we're going to put you into breakout rooms so that you can share your successes, talk about what assets you have, what your resources are, and perhaps what relationships support you. So these are just a guide. They're not a checklist for you. Okay.
So, okay, so now we have to set up the breakout rooms, and I guess I have to stop sharing in order to do that. Is that correct, Molly? Is that your?
Actually, it looks like I can go ahead and just put folks into breakout rooms
Okay.
without stopping. So we can just pause here. I'll pause the
Gallery.
Is that everyone, Molly? Can you tell from your list?
I think it was. I think we were 13 going into the rooms. So I think this might be everybody.
Yep, that looks like everyone. Welcome back, everyone.
So we have sort of just sketched just a couple of notes that we wrote down right before this started about reconvening and talking together. You know, maybe you could share what your group talked about. Maybe somebody wants to share what she wrote about, or they wrote about, whatever. What came up?
Oh, Kat.
Kat.
Hi, I'm Kat. I'm at Colorado College. Our group talked a lot about what we're doing outside of work. We each listed some things that we're grateful for inside of work, being stable, feeling like we've got some support around us. Kim was fortunate enough to get an assistant recently, which is really exciting. That gives experience to a graduate student as well as gets her the assistance that she actually needs to do her job the way that she wants. I talked a little bit about how I've been in a sustained Dungeons and Dragons style game since March, and I've started learning Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is super fun. The guy I'm kind of seeing is running it, and he's teaching me and my mom how to play dungeon games. So we play on Discord, so I've learned that, and I mean it's really great. The other Kim has a new grandchild, right? Like in the middle of all of this like craziness, we've got new life happening, and we're all really excited to kind of keep up with some of the routines that we had that help our health. Being able to maintain a weight loss journey, being able to stay active. I'm an aerialist, so I do circus arts, primarily lyra. So I am on a spinning circus hoop. So I've gotten to continue that, and it makes me like feeling my body move through space is very important to me.
Right.
It reminds me like this is not this room that I'm trapped in so many hours a day is not it. So I don't know, it was really great to like just have a conversation where we're like, we acknowledge that not everything is great, but that like there are some really positive things that have come out of learning to be on our own and learning to work in new ways.
That's awesome.
Oh, awesome, Kat. Thank you.
Gosh. Who else? It could be big or small. Or medium.
So I'll just kind of expound on what Kat was saying about like health journeys. So I was saying that I've been on a health journey for a while now and had lost a significant amount of weight. And then when shutdown happened and we were working from home and I couldn't really social distance from the refrigerator very easily, you know, I got really scared about what that was going to mean for my weight loss journey and how I was going to keep my wellness routine, because
Mhm.
my college gives us an hour a day to work out on the clock and everything. And I have a fabulous gym at school that I get to use every day. And I was like, I'm going to lose those routines.
Oh,
We know they well, at least in California, they shut down the gyms and things like that, you know, and so very concerned about losing those routines. So I kind of was able to figure out how to get past that by also catering to my preferred learning style, because I'm a kinesthetic learner. And I went on Amazon and I found a laptop desk that fits on the top of my stationary bike. And I mounted my laptop on top of my stationary bike. And for 3 hours a day, I am spinning and I'm doing emails. And I have plowed through 500 emails this week already, and it's only Wednesday. And it's not even noon yet. And
that's
yeah, that's how I watch the sunrise now. And it's the reason I'm actually I don't have my camera on right now, because I just got off my bike and I sweated my eyebrows off. So I don't have my camera on, but it's for a good reason. And I actually at the point where I feel like, how am I going to go back to work now that I've built this routine? Because I'm loving it so much. It works for who I am as a person. I don't feel like I'm having to either be at the gym or doing my work. I've found a way to do both of those things, and it feeds my body and my mind simultaneously. And so I'm considering buying a second bike so that when we go back onto campus, I may just have to sneak one into my office, because
Mm-hmm.
I can't say I'm not getting my work done, right?
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Thanks.
That is so smart.
It's kind of funny. I've heard a few people mention that they're grateful that they've been able to hire an assistant director. And I'm actually in a new position of assistant director that has opened up. So I've been in this position for a little over a month, which is crazy with everything that's going on with COVID. I was looking for a job. I had graduated from grad school in December, and so was starting to look for a new position. And COVID happened, and I was just like so discouraged in my job search process, and have found myself, you know, in a really, really great position that I really enjoy, at a university that is in alignment with a lot of my values. And there's just such a positive culture, positive team that I'm working with. And it has above and beyond exceeded what I ever expected,
Wow.
even before COVID. And so I'm so grateful for that.
Oh my God.
But at the same time, I recognize that so many people, you know, are in a position where they're not able to find a job. So I recognize that struggle and can kind of relate, because I was looking for like 8 months. So yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for the transition to online platforms and all of that. So.
It is interesting. That's striking that in a group of 12 or 13 or more, we have there are 3 stories of assistant director, you know, hiring, and I really this was I mean my I don't even want, it just makes me so angry. That's the fight to get this to happen, but it was really because of the alignment of all these things. COVID, then our students didn't get internships, so I hired a bunch of new undergraduate tutors. I needed support for that. So all these things lined up, and I could make the argument for needing this person. So I don't know if that happened with Kim, or Christina, if that led to your position, but maybe sometimes we can take advantage of, you know, the crisis. Out of the crisis can come an opportunity sometimes, not always. Yeah, but it is pretty interesting.
I don't know how many of us also get the chance to actually, as in director roles, have conversations with our students on a very regular basis. But one thing at my particular institution, I'm in a 2-year college. We are a Hispanic serving institution. The majority of our students are low socioeconomic status, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
This shutdown has been hard on them. The majority of our students, when we went off campus, had to drop out of their classes, and the state gave them excused withdrawals because they didn't have the technology to do an online class, didn't have a laptop, didn't have internet access at home, couldn't afford it, or maybe they only had one laptop because the little kids were at home too, mom and dad are now at home, just the stories that I was hearing. And I was panicking for them too, thinking of things. We have a pantry on campus, and I'm worried about them. Are you guys eating enough? You know what I mean? Like, their stories were breaking my heart already when we were on campus. And then COVID happened, and I'm worried if they're just surviving. And I can't fix those things for them. It has made me turn the lens on, even on my worst day. How good do I have it that
Yeah.
right now I'm sitting in my air-conditioned apartment right now where the bills are paid. I'm on a laptop that was given to me by my college I didn't have to pay for, on a stable internet connection. And I know that I will have a job when I wake up tomorrow, and that's not going away. Do you know what I mean? Just those things there, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We can go back to the very basics of gratitude with there is food in our belly. There is assurance that tomorrow, we will have warmth and we will have some security in our lives. And so many of the people that we work with on a daily basis may not be able to say that right now. I don't know all of your institutions, but I know that's the case for my students. Like, I'm still getting those emails for them every day about why they're going to have to drop out and things like that. And my heart breaks for them, but it's definitely giving me something to be grateful for. So the very first one I wrote down on my list was, I'm grateful for my education, because everything I just listed is only because I was able to get through a bachelor's and master's program. And if it hadn't been for that, I'd probably be in the exact same position as my students are right now. And so forever, that's going to be the thing that I'm the most grateful for, is that I have an education that's affording me some stability in my life. And I think that's the social justice lens too, of why I got involved in the Writing Center, because God knows none of us got into this because we're making our millions, right? And so there's got to be that other reason. And for me, I think that's it.
That's awesome. There's some, and there's, you're helping to articulate something that's kind of in the back of my mind, and I don't want to press too hard on this, but I feel like I want to connect being grateful to Writing Center work. I feel like I want to I don't know, maybe it's just I feel like, I don't know, maybe this is just the genre of the presentation, especially a Writing Center presentation. It always feels like we have to have an action point. So what are we going to do when we go, back to our Writing Centers, go back to our tutors? Maybe there's nothing we can do. Maybe there is something we can do. Maybe there's some way to turn this back to the people we work with, the students that we help. I'm not sure. Again, I don't want to instrumentalize this moment, but.
Well, I would just add that I do this with my tutors. We start our meetings with something they're grateful for, or what their COVID thing is. It can be an alcoholic beverage, or a game they play, or whatever.
That's awesome.
So I think we can take small things and use them, right? Or just the practice of gratitude. I think it's something we had an hour of doing so and thinking about all the things we're grateful for. And hopefully we can carry a little bit of that into our regular daily lives. I hope.
I love that idea. Kate?
I love that too. I haven't been doing that explicitly, but I have noticed that students in my writing classes this year have been kind of volunteering things they're grateful for. So I wonder if there's kind of this sense of, I don't know, the pressure makes them more grateful for the things in their lives. I've had a lot of students say, I'm just grateful almost all of our students in my one writing class are on campus taking all remote classes, and they all just talk to me about how grateful they are to be on campus, right? Or various other things like that. And so I've been just surprised at the kind of them just saying this. It's comes out of nowhere. It's not like I've prompted them, but it makes me think I want to do it more with the tutors, who are just such a lovely. One of the things we talked about in our group was how we're all grateful for our wonderful tutors and how thoughtful and kind and generous and engaged they are, especially in these times. So I love that idea.
Yeah, me too. That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. What's the link that's in the chat?
So when we're thinking about like our tutors, I'm just overjoyed to have the staff that I do. I got to meet today with a student he just took his MCATs, and he was really excited to talk to me about that and how he feels like he just has so much more time to work at the Writing Center now that he doesn't have to study for the MCAT. But one of my other tutors made a TikTok about why you should go to the Writing Center, and just out of nowhere, like she's like, these are the only TikToks I know how to make. I can only talk about the Writing Center. I don't really know how to talk about anything else, but she keeps sending me these links to TikToks that she's creating just for fun. And she's one of my newest consultants. I try not to hire juniors. It's a 6-month training period. So if you come on as a junior, I get maybe a year with you at most, right? And that's if you don't go abroad, that's if you don't take blocks off, that's all I get. And she's one I took a risk on. And she has just turned out to be the most fantastic consultant. She did a workshop the other day in a philosophy class that wandered. At best. Nobody knew what the prompt was about. And she was able to go in with my assistant director and really kind of wrangle students and talk to them about what it meant to be a student at CC, what it meant to take time to write. And Chris got back to me and he's like, oh my God, Mary was just amazing. Like, she helped save this workshop, because I got in there and had no idea. And students were complaining about the feedback they're getting from their professor, and the professor keeps himself muted with his video off and like pops in as a surprise to like correct students on their interpretation of how they feel about his feedback. And Mary was just really able to navigate between the professor and the students in a way that that he couldn't as a staff member, because students have a lot more weight at our institution than staff members. So yeah, I just have to brag on her in every situation, because she's just so funny. And like, that's a perfect piece of PR. We just sent it out to all of our first years yesterday, just to up our numbers, because they're looking low for this week.
I love that. I love that story. And I love this. I'll tell you what I'm grateful for right at this moment is I miss Writing Center conversations with multiple people. I'm grateful to have my assistant director to talk to about Writing Centers, but it's really nice to be talking to people from other institutions and hearing these great stories. And I mean, I really, and you know what, like, here we are, and we can take an hour out of our day to do this, and we don't have to travel or stay in a mildewy hotel or spend money that we don't have or that our institutions don't have. And that's really, that's great. And I hope that doesn't go away. I hope we can stay connected. So this was fantastic. I feel so good right now. So I really appreciate it.
Me too. And I want to thank you all for being here. I'm going to dash to another Zoom meeting. Got a Zoom. Great to see you all. And you don't have to leave, but I do.
Thanks, Shireen. Good to work with you.
So my phone just buzzed with another bit of good news. They're going to be restructuring the presidential debates to keep the interruptions from happening. So that is an excellent little tidbit.
They figured out how that mute button works, huh?
They're going to hold it on Zoom and turn off his camera and his mic. That works.
Oh, if only we
I
could
am
do that
grateful
every
for-
time he talks.
Sorry, what?
I am grateful for laughter right now.
Right?
All you can do sometimes is just laugh.
I know.
Amen to that. Hey, thank you guys so much for offering this today. This just
Oh,
really,
I'm so glad.
I needed this one. Thanks so much. It was wonderful to see all of your faces again. Have a wonderful day, ladies.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Hi, Maria.
Hello. Thank you so much for having this.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for sticking with me, even though
The topic is great. I mean, this is so important for us right now, and I've just been feeling really low. Like Kim was saying, you know, our students need so much right now, and I can only do so much, and I can't do some of the things that they need. But it's just, I feel that I'm working at almost an open access kind of institution. It's a research university, but it's basically open access where we are. And they're just really struggling with finances. They're struggling with, some of them have COVID. It's just like, you know, it's really, you can get bogged down by that.
there really is. I'm really sorry. And there really is a lot to be bogged down with, and it's hard.
But if we get bogged down, then we can't do.
That's right.
You know,
We can't help anybody. If we can't help ourselves, we can't help anybody else. And helping can be in such small little teaspoons, but that really can make such a difference in someone's life.
That's what I'm trying to do. Small teaspoons, one at a time.
That's right. That's exactly right. Okay, well, we're just about at the end of our time. Is there any other parting thoughts, or I don't know. I don't really have this planned out. There's not any more notes over here.
Let a co-coordinator step in, and even though Shireen's gone, thank Lauren and Shireen for this pivot.
Thank you
To a
so
topic
Pivot.
really gratefully received today.
Thank you very much, Denise.
So grateful for you and for everyone else who came today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for
Carry
taking
this
it.
forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Give
Thank
the
you.
gift.
Share the gratitude.
Have a good afternoon.
Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Have you stopped the recording?